If you're sitting in front of a monitor that can't keep up with what your GPU is pushing, every dollar you spent on that graphics card is going to waste. These four 27-inch monitors cover four very different profiles: two OLEDs, two mini LEDs, two different resolutions, and a price range that goes from $349 to $769. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one is built for you. Let's start at the top. The ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27AQDP is a 27-inch OLED gaming monitor running at 1440p with a native 480Hz refresh rate, the highest available at that resolution in an OLED panel. That number matters because OLED panels inherently process motion differently from LCDs. According to the specs, each pixel turns on and off independently, which gives you near-instant pixel transitions. ASUS quotes a 0.03 millisecond gray-to-gray response time. The panel covers over 97% of the DCI-P3 color space with true 10-bit color depth, and per the manufacturer's information, it hits up to 1,300 nits peak HDR brightness, though independent measurements have put the actual HDR closer to around 1,100 nits in a small window, still among the brightest OLED results measured to date. Contrast is effectively unmeasurable, because when pixels are off on an OLED, they're completely off. ASUS also updated the subpixel layout on this generation. The previous OLED panels had an arrangement that hurt text clarity, and that's been corrected here, which matters if you spend time outside of games. On connectivity, you get two HDMI 2.1 ports and one DisplayPort 1, four with DSC, two USB-A ports, and a headphone jack, but no USB-C input. The monitor includes ASUS's ELMB feature, Extreme Low Motion Blur, which is a backlight strobing mode that further sharpens moving images when activated, and their OLED Care Suite for long-term panel maintenance. Think about the PC gamer who's already running a high-end GPU, something in the RTX 4070 class or above, and plays competitive titles like Valorant, Counter-Strike, or Apex Legends, where every frame and every millisecond of input delay actually shows up in results. That person has likely already maxed out a 240Hz display and knows it. The PG27AQDP delivers the fastest OLED motion clarity currently available at 1440p, and the improved subpixel structure means it doesn't force a trade-off between gaming clarity and desktop usability. This is also a viable choice for someone who games hard, but also does color-sensitive creative work on the side, since the color accuracy out of the box and the calibration ceiling here are genuinely high. If you're not consistently pushing well above 240 frames per second in your main games, the full value of this panel doesn't fully land. But for the viewer who knows they're in that category, nothing else in this list touches it. At $769, this is the highest priced option in today's roundup. You'll find the link to check current pricing on Amazon in the description below. Now, if you want the OLED experience at 1440p without spending $769, the Dell Alienware AW2725DF is the most direct path there. This is a 27-inch QD-OLED, quantum dot OLED, which is a different panel technology from ASUS's WOLED. Where OLED adds a white subpixel to boost brightness, QD-OLED layers a quantum dot film over the blue OLED emitters to widen color volume and improve saturation. According to the official specs, the AW2725DF covers 99.3% of DCI-3 and ships with Delta E below 2 factory calibration for both sRGB and DCI-3 out of the box. The refresh rate sits at 360 Hz, also at 1440p, also with near-instant response times inherent to OLED technology, and also with VRR support via AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility. Dell's 3-year warranty on this monitor explicitly covers burn-in, which is notable for an OLED. One connectivity caveat worth flagging: the full 360Hz refresh rate is only available over DisplayPort. The single HDMI 2.1 port tops out at 144Hz, so if you're gaming on a laptop that only has HDMI out, you'll be leaving a large chunk of the panel's capability on the table. USB-C is present, but does not carry video signal. This one is for the competitive PC gamer who has a desktop with DisplayPort output, a GPU capable of sustaining high frame rates in their main titles, and a budget that stops well below the ASUS. The QD-OLED panel's color characteristics also make it a solid dual-purpose screen, something you can keep on the desk for both gaming sessions and general content consumption. The 360Hz ceiling is lower than the ASUS, but for the vast majority of competitive players, even at the highest skill levels, that gap is imperceptible. What you're really getting here is OLED black levels, OLED response times, wide color gamut, and factory calibration. At 400 $499. That's a genuinely strong position for what this panel delivers. At $499 on Amazon right now, this is one of the most compelling OLED entry points at 1440p currently available. The link is waiting for you in the description. Before we move to the next monitor, if you're finding this breakdown useful, subscribe to GadTech and hit the bell. We do this for every category, every price range, so you never have to guess which spec actually matters for your situation. The third option goes in a completely different direction. The KOORUI 27-inch 4K QD Mini LED S2741LM is not an OLED. It's a mini LED LCD with a quantum dot layer, which changes the conversation in important ways. The panel runs at 3840 by 2160, true 4K, at a native 160Hz refresh rate. But here's where the design gets interesting. It has a dual-mode switch that drops resolution to 108p and pushes the refresh rate all the way to 320Hz. That gives you two fundamentally different monitors in one: a sharp, detailed 4K display for story-driven gaming, video editing, and everyday use, and a fast, high frame rate mode for competitive play. The mini LED backlight is divided into 1,152 individually controlled dimming zones. Local dimming means the backlight can be turned down or off in dark areas of the frame while keeping bright highlights at full intensity, which dramatically improves perceived contrast versus a standard LCD. Per the VISA Display HDR 1400 certification listed in the manufacturer's specifications, the panel is rated for up to 1,400 nits peak HDR brightness, significantly higher than any OLED in this list in terms of raw light output. Color coverage is listed at 98% DCI-P3 and 99% Adobe RGB. Connectivity includes two HDMI 2.1 ports, one DisplayPort 1, 4, and a USB-C port with DisplayPort Alt mode and 90 watts of power delivery, meaning you can run a laptop over a single cable with video signal and charging simultaneously. There are no built-in speakers on this model. It's worth being clear that mini LED local dimming, while much better than standard backlighting, does still produce some haloing around very bright objects on dark backgrounds. That's a physical behavior of the technology, not a defect, and it's visible on all monitors in this category. This one targets someone who genuinely needs the 4K resolution in their workflow, a content creator who edits video, a designer who works with high-resolution assets, or a gamer who wants a visually immersive single-player experience with sharp, detailed rendering at 4K. The dual-mode feature makes it versatile enough that you don't have to give up competitive capability entirely. The USB-C hub with power delivery adds real practical value if you move between a laptop and a desktop. If you're purely a competitive gamer who will live in 1440p and high refresh rates, the OLED options in this list are better matched. But if you want a screen that earns its place in a creative workflow and still holds its own in gaming, the KOORUI covers a lot of ground. Pick it up for $499 on Amazon. The link is in the description. Go check the current price before you decide. The last monitor on the list is also the most budget-friendly, and it's built around a specific value proposition. The INNOCN 27-inch 2K GA27T1M is a 1440p mini LED gaming monitor with a 320Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. Like the KOORUI, it uses a mini LED backlight with 1,152 local dimming zones, but at 1440p resolution instead of 4K. Peak brightness, according to the manufacturer's information, is up to 1,000 nits in HDR. Color coverage is listed at 100% sRGB. The monitor supports G-Sync compatibility, AMD FreeSync, and variable refresh rate, and connects via HDMI 2.1 and DisplayPort 1. 4. Compatible with PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch at their respective native specs. INNOCN built in a feature they call MPCS, Moving Picture Clear and Smooth, which dynamically adjusts pixel response during fast motion to reduce blur and maintain sharpness in high-speed sequences. Refresh rate options step down to 120Hz, 144Hz, 165Hz, and 180Hz as well, which keeps it compatible across a wide range of systems. The stand supports tilt adjustment and VESA 100 by 100 mounting. The monitor also includes built-in speakers, which is a practical differentiator at this price point. The GA27T1M is a newer model with a shorter track record of independent testing than the other three options, so it's worth keeping that in mind as you weigh it against the more established names. If your budget stops at $349 and you want a high refresh rate gaming monitor with mini LED contrast performance Instead of a basic IPS panel, this is the most competitive option at that price. It's aimed squarely at the competitive gamer who plays fast-paced titles, first-person shooters, battle royales, real-time strategy, and wants 144p sharpness combined with 320Hz fluidity without paying OLED prices. Console gamers who want a single screen for both PC and console use will find the broad compatibility here useful. It won't match OLED's infinite contrast or instantaneous pixel response, but it delivers a meaningful step up from a standard backlit IPS monitor at a price that keeps the rest of your build budget intact. At $349, it's the lowest cost entry in this video. The Amazon link is in the description so you can see if it's still at that price. So here's where we land. The ASUS is for the serious competitive PC gamer with the GPU to match, who wants the absolute ceiling of OLED speed at 1440p. The Alienware gives you that same OLED technology at a more accessible price, with the caveat that you need DisplayPort to unlock its full potential. The KOORUI is the 4K dual-purpose pick. It works for creators and immersive gamers, and the USB-C hub makes it practical for a laptop-centered setup. And the INNOCN is for the buyer who wants mini LED performance and high refresh rates without the OLED price tag. All 4 links are in the description below. If you haven't subscribed to GadTech yet, now is a good time. See you in the next one.